Greetings, everyone. It's me, Julie Hall, the Estate Lady, with part 2 of the blog we started last week. You may recall that I had written a letter to my father, who was facing, potentially, the scare of dealing with dementia. And I just knew that if I had remained silent without saying anything to him, and it turned out to be dementia, I may not be able to live with myself. So this is the letter that I decided to write to him. Dear Dad, I love you and Mom more than you could ever know. We don't say it every day, but it is always there, always in our hearts. I was just thinking how odd it must be for you to be seeing multiple doctors because you never did care much for them. But as you say, the body is starting to wear out. I recall a conversation that you and I had at your dining room table one morning not long ago. You told me not to get old. Well, Dad, I really want to get old. May God bless me with a long and fruitful life. I have so much to do, so much to learn, and so much to give back. Mostly, I have much to live for. I have a beautiful family where I would love to see my daughter grow and flourish, and see her children find their way into this world. I want to grow old by my husband's side, wrinkles, aches, and all. I can see myself as a frumpy old lady in my garden talking to the birds and an old cat. In a world where money and material possessions are priorities, I learned at a young age that these things are great to have, but do not bring happiness or guarantee anything good. It's all about the relationships we build and sustain that are important. I believe that when we leave this place, we take only what we have accrued during our lifetime. Important lessons, love for family and friends, good times. Dad, you confided in me that your memory is not what it used to be, and that it has you worried. It is very important that you share this with your doctor so he can give you the appropriate tests to rule out certain causes. I am a little concerned about your memory because you are concerned. There are many reasons why memory can become foggy, and many reasons are fixable. Mom said you canceled your doctor appointment, but how can you nip this in the bud if you keep canceling appointments? If the shoe were on the other foot, and it was me, or Mom, or brother, wouldn't you encourage us to get to the bottom of it? Of course you would. You would not say, run from this sort of thing, and that you would need to hit it straight on, and you would be right. We come from a long line of strong, tenacious people. Empower yourself, Dad, and get the facts so that you can put this behind you. Please also consider that you have a wife and 2 children who adore you and want you around for a very long time. While we have no control over how much time we have in this life, we do have control over the decisions we make, and this would be a good one, to see the doctor and get some tests done so they can help you with your memory. Making good decisions is something that you always taught us, Dad. Did you think I wasn't listening all those years? Even though you didn't think so, I have been. How else could I have gotten this smart? If I have upset you with this letter, that was certainly not my intent. My words come from a place of concern and love for both you and Mom. Think about this before you cancel any more appointments. You have always practiced and preached the very principles of positive thinking in Dale Carnegie, and we learned that from you. I'll be the first to admit I'm not crazy about doctors, but you might be able to head off some memory issues if you find out what's causing it. As a child growing up, you would always say to me, just give it some thought, dear, and you will come to the right conclusion. Well, Dad, give it some thought. Do it for you. Do it for Mom. Do it for us. Do it because you deserve to know. If it's nothing, then it would have been a worry for no reason. If it is something, then we'll face it together. That's what family is for. Ti amo, Julie. Well, it was something. My father was diagnosed with a devastating type of dementia. And that was several years ago, and as many of you know, I lost my father last year. the demon that I call dementia took him from us, and I realized that it was merciful, but it didn't make it any easier. You see, I had spotted the signs of dementia long before anybody else did, and they all thought I was crazy. I found this letter among my mother's things that she had kept. She died a few months before Dad. And the reason I wanted to read you this letter was so that you could see and understand and feel that there's very raw emotion when dealing with this sort of thing, and not always knowing how to handle our parents. They come from a generation that is extremely private, and we don't want to impose on that. But when it comes to illness, and a potentially chronic illness like dementia, it's better to know up front than wait until it's too late. For those of you who suspect that a loved one may have dementia, or are in the middle of it, or like me, are at the back end of it, please share this with someone you know so that they can understand that it's okay to feel the way that you feel. But there's a plus to this negative thing. There are gifts to be found when dealing with a loved one with dementia. I said I wasn't going to cry. I think, looking back at the few months that I had with my father, they were a tremendous gift, because I got to talk to him about family stories from long, long ago that he remembered. And even though he hallucinated, and even though he heard and saw and felt things that weren't there, I did my very best to join his reality for a while, because I didn't want to make him feel bad. And now I realize, as I did then, that little snippet of time that I had with him, the lucidity that was left, is truly a gift, because things were said between father and daughter that I will treasure the rest of my life. So even though it's a really bad thing, look for the good in it, because the good exists. Greetings, my friend. I'll see you next time.